thank you, first of all, for the opportunity. And I guess we're looking at the fact that MLK Day is just around the corner. And so we want to say something in the spirit of Dr. King. And I kind of thought about, what can I say to summarize such a life and a labor of love? And one of the things that came to mind is Dr. King's, what I would call his ordained ambition to make unity through equality and equity a reality in America's diversity. And so I just believe that was the spirit behind his relentless resolve, and I also believe that was the spirit behind his conviction. But what is even more remarkable is that motivation did not begin with Dr. King. The motivation for unity. In fact, when he gave his famous speech on the March on Washington in 1963, as he stood upon the Lincoln Memorial, silhouetted by the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, who also saw the importance of a united nation, and he even moved on it. Dr. King, when he came to the climactic close of his speech, he borrowed the words of Thomas Jefferson, who oversaw the writing of the Declaration of Independence, which says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And what makes Dr. King's speech so memorable or so magnificent is the same thing that makes the Declaration of Independence so remarkable. They both spoke about how essential it is to have unity for a community to be successful. What they're basically saying is, and I agree, is that we are all connected, whether we accept it or not. Physically, we are connected biologically to the earth, we're connected chemically, and to the universe, we are connected atomically. So we're all connected. And Dr. King made a statement. He said, I cannot be all that I ought to be until you are all that you ought to be. And that is the interrelated structure of our reality. And so they saw that is really the concert of our connectivity. That's the orchestra of our existence and the symphony of our survival. We must work together. In fact, King's words were prophetic as well as poetic when he said this: we must learn how to live together as brothers, or we will perish as fools. And man, does that speak to our context today. But what is even more remarkable, I find, is that this concept of unity did not originate not only with Dr. King, but not even with Thomas Jefferson, but we hear it in Jesus' prayer in John chapter 17 when he said, Father, make them one, even as you and I are one. So you see, Dr. King's concept of unity was not just a good idea or a great idea, it's in fact a God idea. And we see Paul, he kind of deals with that in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 14, how he talks about Jesus came to bring two people together, the Jews and Gentiles, making them one and destroying the hostility between them, also in the hostility between the man and God. And so unity finds its roots in the soil of Scripture. That's where it originated, and it's a God idea. So, when Jesus was here, and his endeavor was to bring unity with God and man, and man and man, or humanity, he used two tools. John said he was full of grace and truth. And it's interesting because in chapter 17, before he asked God to make them one, he said, sanctify them by your truth. Truth is the precursor to unity. So when John saw him in 1 John chapter 14, he said he was full of grace and truth. Grace represents God's love. And so the two tools that we really need to bring unity is truth and love. And that's where I want to end. I want to end with what Cornel West called us being love warriors. And in my meditation, I came up with an acronym for love that would help us in this endeavor of bringing unity and harmony in our communities by giving you 4 tools to make you a great love warrior. And it comes really from the acronym of love. The L in love, I say, stands for listen. Listen. We got to listen to each other. We got to listen to people that of different walks and different cultures, because the more we listen, we learn about a person. Conversation reveals character. But after you listen, the O in love stands for observation. You got to observe people. Because listen, you heard the Jahara window, we all have blind spots. There are some things about people that they don't even know about themselves, but you can learn about them just by observing them, just watching them. Then there's some things about them that they don't want you to know, but if you observe, you can come to know. Once you've listened and you've observed, then V stands for validate or bring value. Listen, let them know that what they have to offer is valuable. Even though they're different, that doesn't mean they can't be dynamic. And so we have to add value to whatever contribution that they have to give. And then the last letter is E, which is engage. That's when we should invite them into the project, but not just as observers, but as participants. Listen, invite them, involve them, and let them know that they have value to the project. And see, once you've done that, then you have expressed love. And exercising that, you become a love warrior, and we continue the spirit of Dr. King, which is really the spirit of Jesus Christ. That's it. Hopefully, we all will become love warriors.